Hey, y'all been asking for this video. It's finally here. This is the truth about surgical technology school or surge tech school, whatever you want to call it. Hey y'all, welcome to Life with Slim. My name's Asia. Welcome to my channel where we talk about any and everything, vlogs, and we just have a good time. But today's video is about why I left surgical tech school and just some truths and just some information about surgical tech school if that's something you're interested in. The way y'all been going crazy for me to make an updated video, because the last time I made a video, it was when I was doing my surgical tech vlogs. And y'all were like, oh my God, make sure you update us on the journey. Baby, your girl done left. She done figured out a whole new career path for herself. That's gone with the wind. I just want to give out a disclaimer before I start this video. Everything in this video is based off of my experience and my journey to become a surgical technologist. I'm not a reflection of the entity. I'm not a reflection of the career. This is just my point of view as being a student who went through the program. But like I said, I did not finish. So let's get started. What is surgical technology? So if y'all don't know, I wanted to actually pursue a career in the medical field. So I wanted to become a plastic surgeon. So I went to school, got on my pre-reg. I was a pre-med major, a biology major, concentrated in pre-med. So I was ready. But baby, school was just exhausting. So once I finished school, I was like, let me really figure out if medical school is something I really want to do before I sit and invest another 5 to 8 years in schooling, especially if it's not something I truly want to do. So I've been doing research, looking around, and I found out about surgical technology. So with a surgical technologist, what they are is a person who works in the OR setting alongside a surgeon, and they're basically assisting with the surgery. So you're assisting with passing medical instruments, medical equipment in a sterile environment. You have to learn everything. You would think you're doing the surgery with everything you're learning, but basically you're still getting the exposure in the hospital, in the OR setting, to all these different specialties: cardiac, labor and delivery, urology, GI. Like, you're still getting the exposure, you're just not doing the actual surgeries. And you don't have to go to medical school for it. And the main question is, do you need experience before you join this program? So the program I was in, all you needed was a high school diploma. Some programs do require you to have an associate's degree, but it really depends. Also, you need to figure out if the program is accredited. If the program is accredited, you can take the certification exam after completing the classes and the courses. But if your program is not accredited, which is not really recognized as a program by the board or whatever it is, then you have to take another step to be able to take your certification exam. Typically, CST school is for 2 years, but the program that I was in was only for 1 year, which was amazing because it didn't take 2 years. But the downfall with that program is that everything is so condensed. So everything you're learning in that 2-year span, we're learning in 1 year condensed. So the way my program was set up, it was the first 6 months were lecture, classroom training, and lab. Then the last 6 months is your clinicals. Then the last weekday, whatever, is when you take your certification exam. So the way my program worked was that you have to basically pass every single class to move on. So we would start out with fundamentals, we would do surgical procedures, human body, pharmacology, microbiology. We would do all the different things, but you had to pass the class. So within each class, we had quizzes, we had a midterm, then we had a final exam. And your final grade had to be a 75 and higher to pass the class. And if you didn't pass, you were removed from the program. My class was very small. We only had 8 people. So it was very small, very intimate, which was nice because you're able to absorb more and learn more in the program. I'm not really sure the typical class sizes for the 2-year programs. They're probably larger, but for my program, it was a class size of 10, but we only had 8 people. So let's really get into why I decided to leave the program. The program I joined was from April 2022 to April 2023. So this past April, I would have graduated if I would have finished. First 6 months were breezy. I'm very good with classroom, hands-on. Like, since I already had that background in biology, I already had a bachelor's of science in biology. I knew microbiology, I knew human body, I knew human anatomy, like I knew all that stuff. So Nothing was very like shocking, but from someone who is straight out of high school or maybe didn't have the kind of curriculum I had, it's going to be hard for and challenging for those people. So I want to segue into me creating a ebook slash study guide for you guys that's going to have all of my notes from the beginning of when I started to when I left, which is the whole time of lecture, the whole 6 months. I'm going to curate that into an ebook study guide for you guys with different sections. So for human anatomy, for microbiology, and also for surgical procedures, ethics, pharmacology. So I feel like a lot of people aren't good with note taking and they aren't really digesting information they may get in lecture. So this is an extra tool for you guys to use on top of what you are already learning in school. Because the notes I have, my classmates who did finish the program, they all passed their certification exam. And we all had the same notes, and I would send my notes to them for help. So that's a tool I'm going to create for you guys to help you guys with everything. There will be more information about that in the bio where you can sign up, leave your email address, so when that releases, you won't miss out on a release date. I was really just accustomed to everything because I already knew a lot of medical things, medical terminology. Like that wasn't new to me because I had a job as a ER scribe, ED scribe in the emergency department. So I knew a lot of medical terms. I had the background. So the lecture and lab really wasn't difficult for me. At the end of the year, you had a valedictorian. I would have the highest grade on everything we did. And I'm not even saying that to toot my own horn. I was that girl. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Human body, all that, I love it to death. So I made sure I was the best at the best, and I would get hundreds on hundreds on hundreds on hundreds. Like, people would look to me like, oh my God, Asia, like, they'll ask me for advice, ask them for tips, especially when we got to microbiology. So that's why I think this tool that I want to provide you guys with will be such an amazing tool for you guys to have, because it's my personal notes and it's digestible and understandable. I will have that link in the bio for you guys to leave your information so you don't miss out on that release. So we went through lab, and basically in lab, you're doing skills that you would be doing in the OR. So one of them would be gowning and gloving. So you would have to put on a gown a certain way, put on your surgical gloves a certain way. The main thing about a surgical tech is you don't want to contaminate anything. You want to keep your area sterile, which is free of all microbes, bacteria, everything sterile, because when you're going into the human body, the cavity of the human body, you don't want to get all this dirt, debris. That's how you get infections and surgical site infections and everything like that. So, baby, I could teach the course. In lab, you're basically learning techniques that you would actually be using when you go to clinicals. So gowning and gloving, how to scrub, how to surgical scrub your hands the correct way, gown and glove a surgeon, doing a mock surgery. So like our final lab practicum is putting all the lab skills together and doing it in the lab practicum and doing a major surgery. So the surgery we would usually do would be the inguinal hernia with content. So we would pass the instruments, collect the specimen, how would you like it named, how would you like it set, fixed, frozen, you know, all that stuff. We would do irrigation, suction, like it would be a whole surgery. Like I got through all that, aced it, no problem. So this is where I decided this wasn't for me. So we had clinicals and it started, I think, a week before Thanksgiving. And we were all so nervous. But the type of nervous I had was like I didn't want to really go nervous. Like when I have a nervous about things, I'm very excited. Like I'm so nervous, but I'm like, ooh, I can't wait. I wasn't even really excited for this. I don't really know why, but I think it's because I really saw myself going to medical school and being that like top person. When I went to clinical my first day, I was basically treated like I didn't know anything. And I understand that like when you first go into an OR in a facility, a new place, people don't know you. And that's cool, I understand that. But not being greeted or not really being acknowledged, I didn't like that. And it wasn't, when I was talking to my classmates, they weren't getting that same energy at the hospitals they were sent to their clinical sites for. We were all at different clinical sites and everyone loved their clinical sites the first day, but my place was very standoffish. Like I had no direction, no one really told me where to go. I would ask them like where I would go and they would catch an attitude, or they wouldn't really tell me anything, so I would just look lost. They wouldn't let me do anything, and I understand it's my first day, but treating me as if I don't know anything is very degraded. I just felt like I was being degraded. And it was this one situation with this one doctor, and I was in the room. It was me, the tech that I was with, a medical student, and a doctor. And the doctor comes in and is greeting and is all over this medical student. And then he comes to me and goes, why are you scrubbed in? Did I say you can do the surgery? Shoved me away like I didn't know nothing. And I'm in my head like, baby, I have a whole degree. Like, I understand that I'm in this position that's kind of like an entry-level position, and I'm not knocking anybody in this position, but it's like I understand that being a surgical tech is kind of entry-level, and you might think we don't know a lot of things, but trust me, we are learning so much. For you to like brush me off and for you to act like I don't matter is crazy to me, as if I don't know. Maybe I don't know as much of the information that you know, but I know enough to get our surgery going, and I know enough to make you look good. So I just didn't like how he was making me feel like I didn't know anything and was like all over the medical student. But he asked the medical student how many bones were in area of the spine, and she didn't even know. But in my head, I'm like, okay, cervical, thoracic, sacrum, coccyx, like. But you're gonna ask medical, and she don't even know. But you're looking at me as if I don't, okay. It was just very, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It really gave me a bad taste. And I'm the type of person where it's like, I make very rash decisions, and I told people, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going back to this. I'm actually gonna leave. And it was the first day, and people were like, no, give it a chance. And like, I just know me. If in my mind, I just know it's not for me, then or it's not serving me, I'm not gonna do it. And I didn't even finish the point, but we were doing the surgery, and I remember I touched one of the instruments. He goes, I don't want you touching anything. So then he asked my tech who was helping him to pass him a lap pad because something was bleeding inside the body, and the tech was doing something at the time. So I passed him the lap pad, and y'all should have seen this man's face, like disgusted. Like he was in disgust that I handed him a lap pad. Like, and he looked like he didn't even want to take it. Like, you trying to save the patient's life, or are you finna be mad and have a screw face on because I passed you a lap pad? Like, what is the issue? It was just given like, you don't know what you're doing, you don't need to be here. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna find something else that serves me and I actually have fun. And I was just so uncomfortable. Like, it wasn't even like I was comfortable in that space. I was in OR just uncomfortable, wanting to go home. Like, I just realized it wasn't for me, and I just decided to leave the program. So that's truly that. And a lot of people were like, you should have gave it more time. And I just know how I am. Like, when I know something, I know. And maybe like, yeah, maybe I could have been a surgical tech, I could have been traveling. I'm truly happy with what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to follow the path that I need to follow to be successful. I definitely think you should do your research and figure out what kind of program you want to do. The professors and everything for lecture were amazing. I actually have no complaints about lecture. I actually loved lecture. It was really just the clinicals, because some doctors just think they're so like high and mighty. We're all the same type of people. You just have MD or DO after your name. We still go to the bathroom the same. We still do everything else the same. You just have these credentials. So treat me like a human, irrelevant, and I just don't know anything. And I really didn't appreciate that. So I wasn't going to stay in a place that didn't serve me or stay in an environment where I was uncomfortable. So I just decided to leave, and I don't regret that decision, truthfully. I really don't. I've learned a lot of things, and I can use this knowledge and help others who actually want to do this and pursue a career. I can take my notes and help you guys better yourselves and better your studying techniques and everything, so when the CST exam does come, you're prepared. But I don't want you to think that my experience will be your experience. That's the main takeaway of this video. This is just what I went through, and this is why I made the decision I made, and I'm happy with it. But I'm not saying don't give it a chance if it's something you want to do. Yeah, y'all, that was basically tea, and the tea y'all been wanting for months. I finally gave it to y'all, so just let me know what y'all think, and let me know if y'all if y'all ever went through the program, and if y'all ever faced anything like that, any type of backlash, or just like feeling like you don't belong. And also in the comments, let me know if you are interested in pursuing a career in CST. But I am definitely dropping that study guide ebook for y'all. It's going to have everything. But I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you guys for being patient with me. I know I've been slacking. I've been trying to get this video out, but it's out now. Your girl did it. So let me know what else you guys want to see. Thank you guys for always supporting me, and we'll talk soon. Toodles.